I want to talk a little about Burgundy, where these two first wines come from. Chardonnay is the grape of the white wines, Pinot Noir, the red wines. And what Burgundy does is it doesn't, like in California, you see on the bottle of wine it says Cabernet Sauvignon, or Sauvignon Blanc, or Chardonnay, etc. In Burgundy, they don't say that. The wines we're drinking tonight, they do because they're entry-level wines, and they do it for the American market. It's a business thing, or they put the grape on it because that's what we're used to sell the wine. But in Burgundy, the terroir and the vineyard and the place the wine comes from is the most important. So you'll see the name of the town. If it's a regular, they call it commune wine there. If it's a premier cru wine, meaning it's from a vineyard that the government rated, gave it more of an exalted reputation in a sense and a higher rating because the grapes, over hundreds of years we're talking, always produce a better wine from that particular vineyard because of the soil, the exposure to the sun, the slope of the land, etc. So it gets very organic, really. And if it's a Grand Cru, they name it right after the vineyard, like they'll say Le Corton or Montrachet, etc. So you always see on the label Chambou-Moussigny, Vosne-Rame, all these different French names, which are towns or vineyards in Burgundy. And what happened is Burgundy was really developed by the monks. Catholic monks years ago, and they grew all the wine, and they kept experimenting with different clones of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir planted in different vineyards, and they kept seeing, wow, this clone here does well, look at this wine, and the wine started gaining reputation and a demand, and that's how it grew to that point. So many of you saw Sideways put Pinot Noir on the map, in a sense. Well, Pinot Noir is the most complex grape out there, I feel. It's the hardest to grow. Anybody that works in a vineyard will tell you it's very fickle. Once you get it into the winery, it's the hardest grape to make wine out of. It can pick up the bacteria real quickly. It's very sensitive to how long you left it in the wood because it's a transparent grape in a sense. In other words, it takes on its surroundings, starting in the vineyard especially. Then when the winemaker gets a hold of it, whatever kind of oak he uses, how long he keeps it, how old the barrels are. Like when a winemaker chooses his barrels, he can take a barrel in the wine, and judging from the grapes he picked, he'll say, well, this year was a little rainy, the grapes don't have a lot of fruit to them. I'm not going to use new oak on it. I'm going to use a 2-year-old barrel because I don't want to overpower the wine. So there's all this artistic / scientific methods involved with that. So tonight we're going to try a Pinot Noir from Patriarch Parrot, which is a negociant. Most people in Burgundy are negociants, meaning because the church divided the vineyards up to many people, a lot of people own 1 acre, 2 acres, 3 acres of grapes, so they don't really have the money or the facility to make the wine themselves, so they sell the grapes to somebody bigger who owns like 40 or 50 or 100 acres and has the money and the facilities to make wine. And that's how it works. So negotiants buy from other people the grapes and they make the wine themselves. And then they also, like Patriarch, also makes their own wine from their own vineyards. And in Burgundy, that's more exalted in a sense because he owns the vineyard, he had control the whole way. So tonight we're tasting one of these grapes in here he bought, but he put together a nice package, the 06 vintage, which is a very typical of Burgundy vintage. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold, it was right down the middle of the road. So most of the people in France are describing it as elegant and charming wines from this vintage. And it's so important in Burgundy, the vintage, more than any other area in the world, because it's cold. It's like New York State there, almost. When you drive through there, the hills are rolling, kind of like here, like Orange County. It really looks like that. Except you see a lot more church steeples in little villages. And the people there are mostly farmers. Kind of quite the contraire to what we're going to taste later, which is a Bordeaux, which is a lot of money and a lot of estates and wealth there. So after hearing what the soups were, I think we lucked out because I think the Pinot Noir with the mushrooms, that's a classic match. And with the pumpkin too, I can see it. So enjoy this, and we'll see after we're finished. I'll come up and I'll see if anybody has any comments on the wine and how it works. Thanks, folks.